Driving Television is brought to you by driving.ca.
With a name like Avenger, you're thinking it's a muscle car, or at least some kind of performance car, right?
Well, yeah, but this is the Avenger, a four-door midsize car from Dodge, based on the same platform as the Chrysler Sebring. Now, it does look a little bit more aggressive, but we've seen this look before.
Yeah, it looks a lot like the little brother to the Dodge Charger. And we do have a review of the Charger available at drivingtelevision.com.
There are 3 trim levels available on the Avenger. The base SE with a 4-cylinder motor, then the SXT with either a 4-cylinder or a V6, and the RT high-performance V6 model that can also be ordered with all-wheel drive.
All Avengers come with side and curtain airbags, but ABS and traction control are options, which is disappointing. 16-inch wheels come standard on the SE, the SXT gets 17-inch wheels, and the RT gets 18-inch wheels.
The trunk is a good size, plus the back seat and the front passenger seat folds down, so there's lots of space for cargo. Now, I'm a bit disappointed with the finish. The trunk lid has exposed metal and it just looks really cheap, and there's no grab handle. But I got lots of legroom.
You know what, I gotta hand it to Dodge. I find the front seats of this Avenger very comfortable and supportive, which shows you don't have to spend a lot of money to get comfortable seats. Now, this vehicle is also equipped with stain-resistant coverings on the seats. But look, a stain. What Dodge has to do to attract potential buyers in this competitive segment is offer more stuff for less money. The interior features a chill zone just above the glove box to keep drinks cool. The center cup holders can also heat or cool your drink. There's an auxiliary jack, yay, for the stereo, and a sliding armrest. This SXT has a trip computer, heated seats, and radio controls behind the steering wheel, which really is a great place for them. Plus, the wheel tilts and telescopes for just the right driving position.
The back seat has plenty of room for full-sized adults. And from sitting back here, I've got a great view of the dash. And it looks really good with the chrome and brushed aluminum trim. But Dodge needs to do something about the plastic. It looks okay, but it's cheap. There's all kinds of nicks and scratches. And the shape of the back window makes the passengers in the back seat feel a little bit claustrophobic.
Okay, we already mentioned that the Avenger is available with a 4-cylinder or a V6. Now, this is the SXT model we're driving with the 2.4-liter 4-cylinder under the hood. It has 172 horsepower and it's matched to a 4-speed automatic. Now, you put your foot into it and it does an average job of getting the Avenger up and away from a light. That's okay. It's the noise it makes when you're asking it to do it. It just doesn't sound too appealing at all. When you compare it to the ultra-refined engines from companies like Toyota, Nissan, and Honda, this engine sounds crude. It's interesting that the Avenger at low speeds has good road feel back to the driver through the wheel, but get the Avenger up to speed over larger bumps and it bounces up and down and doesn't feel that planted on the road. Throw the car into a corner for aggressive driving and it understeers and exhibits body roll. You know what I think about when I think about this Avenger? A rental car company. You know, you walk up to the counter and you say, I'm here for my rental, and they go, oh, we're giving you an Avenger. No, it's the car you get, but it's not really the car you wanted. It doesn't have a particularly effective engine. The interior is just okay. They use way too much plastic. It doesn't handle particularly well. If it was me, I'd leave it at the rental car company.
Now, I think Zach's being a little hard on the Avenger, but he might change his tune if we would have had a chance to drive the V6 version as our test vehicle. That motor is a 2.7-liter unit with 189 horses of smoother, quieter power and is still matched to a 4-speed automatic. This motor is capable of running on E85 ethanol gasoline fuel. If you really want some fun and spirited driving, then the RT is the Avenger to get with a 3.5-liter V6 and a 6-speed automatic, and it's the only Avenger with a shiftable gearbox. The RT can also be ordered as an all-wheel drive vehicle, which is a great idea, but the price really starts to climb. The all-wheel drive version costs almost $31,000. The Avenger's classed as a mid-size car, but I found it felt really big to drive, especially in length. Now, I can see the spoiler out the back window, but I still had a hard time figuring out exactly where the back end is, and it was difficult to park.
An Avenger starts at around $22,000, and I think probably the best seller in their lineup will be the SXT with the V6, and that starts at around $26,000. Many of the import manufacturers, their 4 cylinders, start around that price point, so there really is some value there. What do you think of the Avenger?
Well, you know, Zach, like I mentioned before, there's lots of legroom in the back, there's plenty of cargo space, and I know it does look similar to the Charger, but I really do like the more aggressive styling. And we got pretty good mileage with it. We averaged about 9 liters per 100 kilometers with mostly highway driving. And just a couple of dislikes, it feels really big and really long when you're driving it, and as I mentioned before, I really didn't find the seats comfortable at all, especially for long drives.
You know what? That's funny because that's one of my likes. I actually find the seats quite comfortable, but I like firmer seats. My back's not so good, so I like all that support in there. Another thing I like about this car is it's a good value car. If you're somebody that can only afford X number of dollars, you're going to get more in this than you would, say, from an import vehicle. I like the styling. It has a few drawbacks here and there, like the small rear window, but overall, it's a pleasant-looking car. And those unique features like the chill zone, the iPod jack, the movable armrest, those are all nice things. The negative for me really surrounds the drive of this vehicle. The suspension is just a little bit too soft and sloppy for my liking, and I'm also disappointed that they don't have a full complement of standard safety features. You can get a Honda Fit for like 15 grand. It's got all that stuff included. This car should. And the drone of the 4-cylinder engine was really unpleasant. I wish they had given us the V6 SXT instead of the 4-cylinder. It's probably going to be their best seller, and if it's anything like the Chrysler Sebring that we had, we probably would have enjoyed it a lot more. By the way, you can look up that review at drivingtelevision.com. So the real question is, with a name like Avenger, does it live up to that name, you think?
You know, Zach, I think it's kind of like a superhero that lost its superpowers.
Like kind of like Spider-Man without his spidey senses?
Kind of like Zach without Lacey.
For complete specs, go to our website at drivingtelevision.com.